Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, the solution to your problems isn't some hidden secret, but something you already have inside you? Well, today we're going to dive into solution-focused therapy, a really powerful approach that's built on that exact idea.
You know, when we think of therapy, our minds often jump to digging through the past, analyzing problems, right? Well, solution-focused therapy completely flips that script. It's all about building the future you want, starting today. Okay, so let's get into this. This approach is all about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. Not at all. It's about consciously moving the spotlight away from the problem and shining it directly onto the solution. And you can really see the difference here. On one side, you have problem talk. That's all about unpacking what went wrong, the conflicts, the past. But on the other side, where SFBT lives, is solution talk. This is all about your future, your strengths, and what's possible. It's a totally different conversation. This quote really just nails it. See, it's not about dismantling a problem piece by piece. It's about building something new and better. The therapy operates on this deep trust that you already have all the tools and materials you need to build that solution. So you might be wondering, how do you start building a solution when you feel so stuck on the problem? Well, there's this amazing and honestly famous technique in SFBT that helps with exactly that. It's called the miracle question, and it's all about helping you see your destination clearly. I mean, it makes sense, right? You wouldn't start a road trip without knowing where you're going. This technique helps you create a really clear, detailed picture of a future where your problem has just vanished. Let's just pause on this for a second. Notice what the question isn't asking. It's not asking how the miracle happened. That doesn't matter. It's asking for the signs, the evidence. What would you physically see? How would your body feel? What would you actually be doing differently? This question gives you permission to think beyond your current reality.
And look, this isn't just some wishful thinking exercise. It's a super strategic tool. It helps you define concrete, observable goals. By visualizing this new reality, you're not just daydreaming, you're creating a tangible destination. And that is incredibly motivating, because now you have a clear what you're working toward.
So once you have your destination, the next step is realizing that you're probably already on the path. This next part is all about discovering the resources and strengths that you already have right now. At the core of this is the belief that no problem is happening 100% of the time. There are always exceptions, little moments, however small, when the problem could have happened but didn't, or when it was just a little less intense. These exceptions are pure gold because they hold the clues to your solution. So here's how it works. A therapist guides you through this. You might start by talking about the problem, but then you quickly pivot. You look for a time it wasn't so bad. Then you ask, what was different then? What were you doing differently? The answer almost always reveals a strategy that's already worked for you. So the big question becomes, how can we do more of that?
And this ties right into another really empowering aspect of SFBT. It doesn't just look for solutions, it actively points out your own resilience. This is often done through what are called coping questions, which get you to see how you're already managing to get by even when things are tough. It reinforces that you are strong and capable.
Okay, so you have your destination, and you've started to uncover some of your hidden strengths. But how do you actually track the journey? Well, that's where scaling comes in. It is a super simple, really practical way to measure your progress, one little step at a time. The whole process kicks off with this simple question. By putting a number on your situation, you take an abstract feeling and you make it concrete, something you can actually work with. So let's break down what these numbers really mean.
So down at the very bottom of the scale, you have 0. This represents the absolute worst the problem has ever been. It's our baseline, the point we're trying to move away from.
And a 10? Well, that's your destination. That's the future you described in the miracle question. The problem is solved and things are better. That's the goal. So why is this so helpful? Well, for one, it reminds you that even if you feel completely stuck, you're probably not at a 0. And just realizing that can be a huge confidence boost. It also helps you set tiny, achievable goals. If you say you're at a 4, the next question isn't, how do we get to 10? It's, what would it take to get to a 4.5? That feels so much more doable.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe the most important takeaway from all of this. Solution-focused therapy is all about empowering your path forward, one small, manageable step at a time.
This quote just captures the entire philosophy so perfectly. You don't need a massive, life-altering event to create change. You just need to start somewhere. One tiny step creates a little momentum, which makes the next step possible. And pretty soon, those little steps add up to big changes.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Forget about trying to solve the whole entire problem right now. Just think about what we've talked about. Based on your own strengths and your vision for the future, what's just one small thing you can do today to move yourself even a tiny bit closer to your own personal miracle?